And it begins here in the nation's capital in a Sunday matinee as we welcome you inside Canadian Tire Center. Well, Toronto's brought a pair of goaltenders expected to be with the Marlies. It'll be Keith Petruzzelli, 6'6" to start. We also expect 6'7" Dennis Hildeby to see action in the Toronto net. There's Anton Forsberg, who missed the final 31 games with knee injuries last year, scheduled to play the entire game for Ottawa. And we'll see the top two lines to start. Gary Galley, and a lot of eyes on William Nylander starting in a different position.
Yeah, it's been the news everywhere, especially, of course, in Toronto, where, you know, the fans have been used to seeing this guy patrol the wing, but he's a versatile player and super talented. I don't think it's going to be a major adjustment to him, and it just opens the playbook for Sheldon Keefe to move him around line to line and position to position. It'll be interesting to watch how he performs.
Max Domi, newly signed, along with Alex Steeves, will flank Nylander. The top line for Ottawa, Stützle with Giroux and Tkachuk to start, and already we've got our first penalty.
Not wasting any time, as like his dad, I hope he's not trying to catch up to him in penalties. His hands get up a bit on Zub going into the corner, and it's the first few seconds of your first shift, and a smile there by Domi as he takes a penalty in his first shift. And of course, I'm sure a lot of nerves. He's been around the Maple Leafs organization a lot with his dad, and now a Maple Leaf himself, and I'm sure real proud of that.
So 13 seconds in, it'll be a power play for the Senators. Claude Giroux gets waived, and Brady Tkachuk will step in.
Major steps on the specialty teams for Ottawa last year. Big time on the power play. It did a lot of damage.
Face-off win by the former Senator Dylan Gambrell, whose best chance of making this Leaf team might be excelling on the penalty kill. Up ahead it comes, and Stützle gains the line and chases after it. Morgan Riley with a bump on him. Tkachuk centers, and Gambrell there to pick that off, and he'll turn the Ottawa power play back, ranked 8th in the league last year. The Leafs tied for 11th on the penalty kill. Jake Sanderson starts the breakout, and now it's Giroux over the line with Tkachuk into the middle, and that pass picked off, and there is Nylander, who may see more penalty kill time, like Austin Matthews, who's not in the lineup, but both are, we're being told, being considered to be regulars on the penalty kill this year. Put back in by Stützle with that outstanding 90-point season. Onto the far side, kick back to the line. Clevin across. It'll come to Stützle, tied up, and Fraser Mitten, the Kamloops Blazer, 19 years of age, likely to go back to junior with the clear.
Well, look at the penalty killing. I mean, the Leafs, Marner, Yarncroke, Camp, Lafferty, those are guys who play top roles on their penalty killing. When you start adding guys like Nylander and Austin Matthews to the killing, I mean, you're taking away sometimes some of their offensive juice for what you may need to. So it's a balancing act when you start putting your star players and your producers on the penalty kill. But hey, all those top-end players, they want to touch every part of the game that they can. And when they're not penalty killing, they want to be penalty killing.
Just 15 seconds remaining in the Domi penalty. That's an icing call against the Ottawa power play.
These two fan bases, you're selling hope, right? I mean, there's not a lot of spots open on these two teams. For Sheldon Keefe and DJ Smith, they know pretty much what their team is going to be right now. And that doesn't, you know, that's hard on the young guys who are trying to crack in and get a spot. There's very few spots available. But what it does is it helps you get your structure and your system in order. And that's something that you love to work on and have that down pat before the regular season starts. When you're interchanging a lot of pieces and you've got to kind of experiment too much, it makes it hard to crack down on those other things. So both these coaches are fortunate to have their teams pretty much made on paper.
And Max Domi out of the penalty box, back on the ice, and we've got another penalty. A tripping call is pending, and we'll get a look at the Maple Leaf power play for the first time. Zach McEwen, newcomer in Ottawa uniform, gets the gate.
Well, a tough customer in his own right, in on the forecheck, and that's what he has to do. But unfortunately, he pulls the legs out from underneath the Leaf player, and he'll go to the box for 2 minutes or less for tripping. Both these teams, these organizations, have bolster the toughness part of their teams. Of course, McEwen coming to Ottawa, and of course, not in the lineup here today, but Ryan Reeves for the Leafs.
Leafs installed the power play yesterday. Guy Boucher, the former Ottawa head coach, in charge of this Toronto power play, and this the likely second unit with Nyes, Nylander, Domi, and two defensemen, Morgan Riley and Timothy Liljegren. That's out of the reach of Nyes, and it'll be dumped back out by Rourke Chartier.
Well, there's a lot of experimenting to do on this power play for Sheldon Keefe and Guy Boucher, and one of them was to try Klingberg on that #1 unit. More wired to shoot. Riley, a little more wired to pass, so a little different look from the top end on the QB part for the Leafs.
Should say that we will see Nylander on the top power play unit. It's Domi back to the line. He'll get it back. Max Domi a shot, and that hit a stick and goes wide. Nylander up with it. Nyes parked in front. Back to Domi. It gets past him and will slide back inside the Leaf line. So into the second minute of the power play. Leafs make changes, and Alex Steeves, who will get more of a look today. There's former Senator Max Lajoie with the give and go. Sends it around to the far side. Off a loose stick. Sam Lafferty picks that off. Here's Connor Timmins, takes a look. He's got Lajoie and fired that right on. Back out to center for Timmins. Kind of got shuffled onto the sidelines late in the season. From February 24th on, Timmins just 3 games for the Leafs as they went into playoff mode. Liljegren to the front, and a nice stop there by Forsberg. Back to the line, Timmins. He sends it across. Lafferty, shot, doesn't get to the net. And here's a jam play to the side, and Forsberg down to cover up as Ronnie Hirvonen with a chance at the side of the net.
Well, great opportunity for the Leafs power play. Their second unit here comes out and right over Lajoie. He tries to go upstairs far side. Good job by Forsberg. He drops down, big tall guy, right? And then there's Hirvonen just cruising on in. He walks right into the slot on his forehand. And again, Forsberg standing tall in the net. I mean, what a crazy injury he had, as you mentioned earlier. You know, double knee injury, and it's tough enough with one, let alone two, but it's really good to see him back. He has played some really good hockey for the Ottawa Senators, and they committed to him. And with Korpisalo in the lineup, I know a lot of people are thinking, wow, that's Korpisalo's net, but I don't believe it's a gimme there at all.
They split the net with Lake Erie when they won the Calder Cup, and actually Forsberg had a little more ice time at the time. We won't see Korpisalo tomorrow to be Matt Sogard as DJ Smith goes with the goaltenders for a full game early.
And I think that's part of what I talked about. They know what their team is. And for Forsberg, who missed so many games, 31 of them, you want to get him in. You want to get him full game action. And he's a guy who's going to be big for you. As you look at the injury he sustained against the Edmonton Oilers. And right there, Hyman gets pushed down on top, and both knees get injured on this play. And right there tells the story of how painful that was. And time missed, and the summer to kind of regroup, and now he's back at it. And I think it's good that DJ Smith gives him the full 60 minutes.
Last game was February the 11th for Anton Forsberg. Here's Giroux to work. Coming off a huge season. Stützle one-timer and a Petrozelli stop. Stützle with 39 goals. The 90 points was 19th in league scoring. William Lagesson getting things organized. A lead feed that skips past Lafferty. And a icing call against Toronto.
Both goalies getting tested a little bit here early in this one. And Petrozelli is going to make a nice save as the Senators kind of regroup in the neutral zone and the deep depth of attack. And as this one gets dropped from Giroux all the way across to Timmy Stützle, and he is as good at one time in it as anybody. Didn't get everything on it, but got enough on it, and that was a really nice save.
Face-off won by Gambrell, who is a placeholder today for a line that has seen in camp John Tavares centering Sam Lafferty and Matthew Nyes, although Nothing's in ink yet for Sheldon Keefe and company.
You're totally in an experimental mode as far as moving some of your top 6 forwards around on different lines. Like you mentioned, Nylander down to that third line. Tavares and Nyes will be the main pieces of the second line. Who fits into that spot, whether it's Gambrell or Robertson or you know, possibly somebody else may slide into there. But I think the plan is to try to get 3 lines that generate offense.
Face off one there by Kastelik. Puck sent to the line, kept in. Another shot by Bernard Docker off target. Clevin moves up. Clevin and Bernard Docker both battling for a spot in the top 6 for the Senators. Puck loose for Nyes, but Clevin in deep. Nyes another chance, and now he's got a little more room and moves it ahead. Here comes Villeneuve over the line, jumping up, but a weak shot will be vacuumed up by Forsberg. So we played 6-12. The shot's 5-3. Toronto here at Canadian Tire Center.
The Little League World Series champions!
It's a special moment. We work hard to get to this moment right now.
The Falcons and Jaguars are playing Sunday, October 1st at 9:30 a.m. Eastern.
He's saying, yes, guys!
You fought for 162 games.
He's in there.
Now your shot at glory is hanging by a thread.
He caught it.
The moment is here.
Ball game.
The MLB Wildcard Series on the networks of ESPN.
Toy Story Fun Day Football, Sunday, October 1st on ESPN+.
The moment is here. The MLB Wildcard Series on the networks of ESPN. You fought for 162 games.
He's in there.
Now your shot at glory is hanging by a thread. A thin line between moving on
Ball game.
and going home.
Oh, wow.
He caught it.
The moment is here. This is the MLB Wildcard Series, October 3rd through the 5th on the networks of ESPN.
No one in the Sens organization seemed keen on mentioning the word playoffs. There's no question that is where they want to be next spring. We heard Sam Cosentino's thoughts before the game. DJ Smith, entering his 5th season as head coach, said at the start of training camp, we are here to win. And how they start may go a long way to achieving that. They have sat no higher than 28 through the first 20 games in each of the last 4 seasons, Chris.
Yeah, that November, they probably got that.
That's a bad burn there. That has been around for too long, and it's been a major problem why this team has not made their way to the playoffs. And you can't be that far behind that early in the season. It's just too much to make up.
Big hit there along the boards. Ellis tries to clear, kept in, and Kastelik shot absorbed by Petruzzelli.
Do what you do best. That's what these exhibition games are about. You can't come in and be something that you're not. For Lajoie, he goes into the corner, not supposed to be throwing hits, but you got to defend yourself, throws the body in on McEwen, and finds a way to come out with the puck. That's what you're looking for. Win battles in the corners. That's what's going to make a guy like Lajoie stand out. Don't try to do too much. Keep it simple. Get to the body, get to the puck, get it moving.
Nylander digs in against Kastelik, who wins the draw. There's Parker Kelly across, and that one off a skeet in the Leaf goal mouth, and ricochets back, and Artem Zub back with Domi sizing him up again. Liljegren steps up, Nylander on the puck. William Nylander off his best season. Top 20 score, sends it across, a one-timer, and Forsberg comes over to make that stop off Morgan Rielly.
And that's what separates the star players that we know in the game today and some of the younger guys who are getting their chances. Look at the set ahead. He absorbs the hit from Kelly. He actually uses it to his advantage. He bounces off him, gets separation, and he knows where Morgan Rielly's going to be. He doesn't even have to look, and there it is, right through the seam, and Rielly to the net. And good job by Forsberg tracking that across.
And a face-off win for Nylander. Back the other way. Here comes Highmore. Pass across, and a fan shot by Josh Bailey, the veteran, former New York Islander here on a PTO. And the expectations are that Josh Bailey will, in all likelihood, stick here. Played for DJ Smith in junior, and for Jack Capuano with the Islanders. Petrozelli will snag that and hold on.
It is a Swiss Army knife for DJ. I tend to agree with you. Good job getting out, fronting the puck and blocking it. And then Highmore doesn't just block it, he gets his feet moving right away. So he gets a step on Timmins, and then again, not just looking to throw the puck at the net, there's no play there. Head on a swivel, drive to the net. When you drive to the net, it opened up Highmore coming in, or Bailey coming in the back door, and that creates an opportunity. And good job, good setup, good attack there by the Sens.
There's a feed for Giroux, looking for Kachuk on that far side. Knocked off his stick by Riley. Puck loose, and Stutzla tried to pounce on that. Now Kachuk finds Giroux. Hit low, and Stutzla unable to redirect that. Spinning in front of Petrozelli. Kept in though. Here's Giroux again. Moving up, Julian Donovan. It was likely ticketed for the Brantford Bulldogs in the Ontario Hockey League. They had the Director of Player Development, Sean Donovan, and now Liljegren. Trying to stride away from Stutzla. Over onto the right side. Sam Lafferty hit there along the boards. Nice rush by Liljegren, and Brad Treleveny mentioning before the game that he's watching him to see if Liljegren can take another step like the one he made last year. There's a pass in front by Minton, and back the other way comes Ottawa. Järventie over the line. Smekal, who played for Czechia at the World Championships, ended behind the net. Villa Van Utrecht and Minton away. Here come the Leafs, back to Minton, spins across. Kyle Clifford a shot, and that one blocked. Forsberg lost his stick. And the Senators able to move it ahead. Sokolov across, and Järventie will chop it down the ice to get a change.
That's a big thing. It's not just Liljegren. There's a lot of players that general managers look to see steps forward. You want to always see the player improving, and certainly Liljegren's one of those guys for sure. Brady Tkachuk and DJ Smith talked about this. This big body, he's a beast out there, but he's really improved his hands in close in that phone booth. The little pass, little shovel pass to Giroux right here. Great set of eyes. He draws two guys to him. That leaves players open, and then Timmy Stutzla at the net just couldn't get a handle on it.
Off the draw, another penalty. This one being called by Eric Furlat, so the slashing call going against the Leafs, and Sheldon Keefe will send his penalty kill unit out for the second time as Villeneuve gets the gate.
Off the face-offs, that's when the referees are really got their eyes on a couple of spots, and you see down low, McEwen goes down, but that's not the call. It's coming across the top. Villeneuve takes the penalty, the slashing call, and the Senators will get their second power play of this first period.
Giroux to take the draw, and Gambrell pulled it back. Retrieved by Ottawa. Sanderson across, and Stutzla's shot deflects out of play.
I don't know about you, Cece, but the start of the preseason is always like, it's kind of odd for me because I see a guy like Bailey wearing this sweater, and for 15 years, I've seen this man wearing an Islander sweater. He bled the Islander colors. It's just, hey, I think it's great that he's here, and I think he can help this team, but it is so odd to see him in that sweater.
Back to Sanderson and across. Pass rejected. Ricochets to Sanderson, an all-rookie player last year. Down low, Kachuk with room, and Petrozelli a stick on it, still loose, and fired out of the blue paint by the Leafs. Close call. Giroux down low again, and Kachuk trying to go between his legs. It's a move his brothers got down. Pat, a loose puck in front. Kachuk scores. It's a power play goal for Ottawa.
Morgan Riley and Petrozelli did a really nice job of thwarting the Ottawa Senators on the first opportunity. It was some really good play down low. O'Reilly lying down, Petrozelli doing the rest, but then Ottawa regains control of the puck. They get it up top, and then it's a little pass that goes into the middle to Bailey. And from Sanderson over to Giroux. Giroux looks like he's going to shoot it and then turns the wrists over and slides it right over into Bailey, who's going to redirect this thing to the net. And, of course, who's there to pick up the rebound? The big body of Matthew Tkachuk, and the captain makes no mistake burying that, and they take the early 1-0 lead.
Brady Tkachuk had a pair of 2-goal games against the Leafs last year. Toronto winning 3 of 4, one in a shootout in last year's installment. But Brady Tkachuk breaks the ice here, 35 last year, and looking for more in this upcoming season.
Football is back. Got your new fantasy team name? Check. Grill? Check. Fancy grill? Check. Troy and Joe? Check. Bro and bro? Check. All the emotions? All season long? Check, baby.
Toy Story Fun Day Football, Sunday, October 1st on ESPN+.
You fought for 162 games.
He's in there.
Now your shot at glory is hanging by a thread. A thin line between moving on and going home.
Oh, wow.
He caught it.
The moment is here. This is the MLB Wild Card Series, October 3rd through the 5th on the networks of ESPN.
With Josh Bailey on the board early in this one. Chris Cuthbert mentioned the relationship he had with both DJ Smith and Jack Capuano. Bailey said that was a big reason why he ultimately ended up signing a PTO here in the nation's capital. He scored some big goals for the Islanders over the years, particularly in the postseason. DJ Smith said he hopes Bailey can be the Derek Brassard of last year, someone capable of moving up and down the lineup at different points throughout the year. Bailey joked he may not have lots of hockey left in him at this point of his career, but believes he can still contribute this year, Chris.
What a picture he was with the New York Islanders. Only Brian Trottier and Denny Potvin played more games as a member of the Islanders. So Bailey and Giroux draw assists on the Tkachuk goal. And here come the Leafs as Steves leads them in. It'll be Nylander firing it, and that one blocked by Kastelik. Nylander on it again. Kid brother Alex has scored for Pittsburgh today. Nylander across, and Timmins trying to sidestep a check, was bumped there by McEwen, who breaks his stick and has to go to the bench to get a new cue. Kastelik over the line, and Kastelik gets upended. It's going to be another penalty. Alex Steves for tripping, and right back to the power play will go Ottawa.
Early in the preseason, the one thing is everyone's trying to get their game legs underneath them at this level. Penalties can really wear you down, and Kastelik gets a step right there, and unfortunately Steves has no choice, gets the stick in the feet. Down Kastelik goes, and the Senators who just scored a power play goal will go back to work. And there's the guy who ripped in the first one right in front of the net, where he's such a big body, and I mentioned earlier he's worked on his hands so much. And this is a guy that's like so committed to his position and his leadership role, not just on the team, in the community. And now seeing his brother go to the Stanley Cup Finals and the kind of vibe he got off of that, he wants a taste of that now, big time.
Looking for his first ever playoff berth. Here's Sanderson across. That shot fought off by Petrozelli with Tkachuk on the doorstep. Giroux's got it again. The Leaf penalty killers are Nyes and Gambrell with Liljegren and Riley. Scrum in the corner. Nyes trying to dig it out. It's played back, and here's Giroux. Off a career best 35 goals And a shot there, tipped in front. Petruzzelli trying to hang in and able to come up with a puck and hold it out.
Well, I mentioned earlier this power play, and a lot of guys from the power play are on it right now, other than, of course, Bailey, who's new to the team and new to the system, but they move it around pretty good. They were really good last year, 5th in the league, and Petruzzelli does a nice job of looking through the big body of Tkachuk, getting in the way of the puck, and then not letting Tkachuk get to it as he seals it up between his legs. He's had a pretty good first period.
Now Nylander wins the face-off on a penalty kill assignment, and the Leafs get a clear.
And the one thing, if you are going to use Klingberg in that #1 PP spot, that opens up to you to use Morgan Rielly more in the penalty kill. And we saw him on the first 2 kills last year in the playoffs. Not as much as he was more on the power play, but now with Klingberg, that could change.
Bailey to Sanderson across, rink wide, and that pass broken up by Lafferty, who had 4 short-handed goals last year. Puck out of play.
Molson Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it.
Not to get all excited about it all, but this is just training camp. Like Morgan Rielly, we know what he's done on that power play for a number of years with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's been pretty good, 2nd in the league. So that's not something you want to just throw away either, but you will experiment a few things with a guy like Klingberg in your lineup, and obviously the noticeable difference is one's a right hand, one's a left hand. One's wired to shoot, one wired to pass. But when you've got a lot of guys who like to shoot on that power play, so I'm not so sure that that's, etched in stone right now that Rielly won't be the guy on that #1 unit.
Sokolov got crossed up with Yarventi, and the pass broken up, and Senators turn back. Here's Tyler Kleven, one of the North Dakota alums on this Ottawa team. Sokolov watched by Rielly and ridden into the corner. Minton arrives. Yarventi.
Move it! Move it! Move it loose!
And it is moved back to the line for Kleven. Down low it goes. There's a Kaslik move to the front. Knocked off the stick of Sokolov. And the penalized player, Steve, back on the ice. So Ottawa now 1 for 3 in the game. Tkachuk the goal scorer, 1-0 Ottawa. The shots 14-6 in favor of the Senators. Zach McEwen, the PEI product, chips and chases and takes down Villeneuve. Another board battle. McEwen digging in against Villeneuve, and Lajoie there as well with Matthew Highmore, former Blackhawk, played back in by Matt Palo, who played for the Finnish team at last year's World Championships. That one picked off by Domi. Here's Nylander in on the backhand and off the outside of the goalpost. Nylander mentioned that at center he might not get as many breakaways as on the wing, but there was a look.
And players like Nylander, it doesn't take them long to figure it out. I mean, there's such high hockey IQ, right? And he's going to figure out the position fairly quickly, and he'll find out how to get his chances.
Now Tkachuk, Artem Zub, and Sanderson back to Tkachuk, loads him off Petruzzelli and out. So Tkachuk with a goal, a chance there, but William Nylander also an opportunity for the Leafs.
That's a special moment. We worked hard to get to this moment right now. I've been in football for 60 minutes. Let's go! Heaves downfield. It's caught. He's gonna throw it. Oh, touchdown!
From the intensity of the pitch
A clinching moment in the title race.
to the beauty of the tiki-taka,
Massive moment.
from city rivals
He needed something special
to El Clásico,
to separate these two clubs.
here's where legends are born. And every match is a spectacle. A celebration like no other. For the love of football. For the love of La Liga.
You fought for 162 games.
He's in there.
Now your shot at glory is hanging by a thread. A thin line between moving on
Ball game.
and going home.
Oh, wow. He caught it.
The moment is here. This is the MLB Wild Card Series, October 3rd through the 5th on the networks of ESPN.
Gary was just mentioning it doesn't take long for someone like William Nylander to figure out a new position. His latest and best chance so far this afternoon coming just prior to the commercial break. He's been in a lot of conversations in Toronto, the contract moving to center. Here's an example of why his teammates are always willing to go to bat for him and speak so highly of him, helping wheel in the equipment when the team got off the plane earlier this morning. John Tavares said he is someone who is built for Toronto and clearly built for lending a hand as well, Chris.
See, he's looking for a new deal. He'll do anything to get that nailed down. Nice pass by Max Domi to spring Nylander on that last chance for the Leafs, but it's a 16-6 shot advantage for Ottawa here in this opening period. A Rick White pass cut off by Max Ellis. Leafs had a scrimmage 2 days ago, their first scrimmage, and just one goal was scored, and it came off the stick of the Notre Dame product, Max Ellis. Here come the Senators, picked off and working in. Sanderson toe stop for the rebound. Cleared away by Riley. Petruzzelli's been busy and he's looked good so far.
If not for him being as sharp as he's been, this could be 2 or 3. I mean, they've had some power play opportunities and some pretty good chances. That was a real good one by Sanderson.
That puck bounced over the stick of Minton and as he tried to charge in, and now off Kyle Clifford, it bounces down into the Leaf zone. William Lagesson, the former Oiler, back there, paired with Connor Timmins. Scrum along the boards and Parker Kelly in the midst of it. Kastelik and McEwen, and that is the presumptive 4th line when the season starts for Ottawa. Minton digs that out and back the other way with the veteran Clifford. Kyle Clifford, 32, playing with Minton, the 19-year-old, missed the pass, and McEwen strides back. Red line and in to start changes for both teams. Under 4 minutes remaining here in the opening period. Here comes Lafferty swinging wide. Sam Lafferty, 12 goals last year. Leaf brass wondering if there's a little bit more offensively as he gets a start in the top 9 at the outset of training camp. Villeneuve plays it around. Lajoie steps up. Nyes backs him up. Tied up by Chartier, and the puck comes out. And an icing call against Ottawa.
Well, when they signed Jake Sanderson, this is the kind of thing that they know he's just going to get better and better at. Reading, knowing when to jump into the play, and here he creates a great offensive scoring chance. He stepped into his freshman year in the National Hockey League. Remember, he came out of North Dakota. He had that hand injury that plagued him all through the summer and the training, getting ready to play. And he just played like a 5-year veteran for a lot of last year. Unfortunately, got hurt towards the end of the season as well. But if he can stay healthy and he can take a step forward, that's going to go a long way of the Senators making the playoffs.
Here's Nylander, looked across, had Riley, but the pass broken up and sent to the line, kept in by Liljegren. At least with some zone time off a face-off win by Max Domi, who took the draw on his strong side instead of Nylander that time. And let's see that regularly. A chance for Smekal at the side of the Leaf net, and Petruzzelli there.
Well, you talk about playing the middle of the ice and face-offs, and Nylander, I think earlier on in his career, took probably more face-offs than he has the last couple of years. And if you look at his numbers, other than last year, which was sub, 50%, they're not terrible numbers whatsoever. But that's the least amount of face-offs other than 2021 that he took in a year. So obviously, the more reps he gets, the better he's going to get at it. And Domi, who is, has played some center of his own, is going to be able to help out, and that's a good thing. So play to your strengths, and for face-offs, which are so important in this game now, I think he'll figure it out. It won't take him long.
2-6 in this game so far. Under 3 minutes left here in the opening period. Artem Zoo, that lead feed, skips down the ice. The Leafs thought it might have been icing, but apparently glanced off Villeneuve, who lost an edge. Backhand, and Petrozelli there again. Into the corner. It'll be Sokolov centering it to net. Shot over the net by Smikal. Igor Sokolov, who spent the summer in Ottawa, determined to make it tough on the coaches to send him back to Belleville. Sokolov's got it, fires, and Petrozelli turns that aside. So over 20 shots now for Ottawa here in the opening period. Sanderson across, Stützle scores! 10 Senators.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. The Järventie line with Sokolov and Smikal did the majority of the work, hemming Toronto in their end. Had a couple of really good opportunities. They continue to win the battles for the pucks. Back to the point, nice rotation. And then Stützle just uses Ellis as a screen and snaps it right through. And that's a top-end snapshot that Petrozelli, I don't even think he saw it coming through. And a 2-0 lead with under 2 minutes to go here in the first period.
39 last year. I laughed. First media availability for Stützle, and the first question was, what are your thoughts on scoring 50? So that's kind of the expectations here are high for a guy who went from 29 points to 58 to 90. That's a pretty quick acceleration over 3 years. And now back to the line. Bernard Docker with a shot right on. That's the 23rd shot on goal for Ottawa here in this opening frame. Nyes with a turnover. Here is a chance for Gambrell. He put it in front. Stützle there defensively to clear it away. Leafs looking for a late response here in the opening period.
Well, if you're DJ Smith, and to that point, Michael Andlauer as well, what do you want to see right off the hop in these games early? Your big guys getting on the board, feeling good about themselves in the preseason, and Brady Tkachuk and Timmy Stützle both scoring here in the first period. And Toronto looks like a team that, got here early, today and got ready for the game. Those aren't easy things to do, and they'll get their legs underneath them here, I think, when the second period commences. It's tough to get them when you're just getting into the rink and getting going here. And Ottawa gets on the board up by 2. Nice rotation by Sanderson. And this shot by Stützle, and you got Sokolov sitting right in front of the net. And that's what you got to do if you're a guy like Sokolov, who had a couple of good chances there. He spent his whole summer in Ottawa, training in Ottawa. He wants the Ottawa management to know he really wants to be here. There's not a lot of spots. He knows that. He doesn't want to go back to Belleville. And that's a really good shift by him. And really, he doesn't, you don't notice him as much till you see the goal go in on the Stützle shot. He's standing right in front of Petrozelli. So that's a big part of why that goal went in.
Sanderson and Smikal get assists on the goal at 18:01. Stützle scored his first career NHL goal against the Maple Leafs. Half-minute left. Charging down is Sanderson in front, and Petrozelli once again from in tight. Good chance there for Highmore. Back come the Leafs. Steves tries to thread it in front, broken up by Sanderson. Shots now 24-7. Domi along the boards. He's had a battle with Zub in this opening period. And the clock's going to drain on this opening period. 2 for Ottawa and a chance for Highmore to add to the total.
What a great period for Jake Sanderson. Once again, joining the rush at the right time. Everyone thinks he's going to the net with it. Nope, he knows Highmore's driving in there. Net drive, lays it out for him. And again, Petrozelli there to block it off. He's had a pretty good period, regardless of being down 2-0.
Couple stalwart scoring in Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle. Our first intermission with David Amber, Justin Bourne, and Sam Cosentino coming up.
The assist on the Tim Stützle goal, just under 8 minutes of ice time, and a shot on goal in the opening frame. Speaking of shots, he did his homework on 2 defensemen in particular this summer, Roman Josi and Rasmus Dahlin. He looked at how how they were shooting, where they were shooting from. You watch video on where they got their shots off from, how often they shot compared to him, how quickly it was on and off their sticks. Sanderson said he wants to have more of a shoot-first mentality this season, be more assertive in the offensive zone. Defending will continue to be a hallmark of his game, but he believes there are tools to unlock at the other end of the ice, Chris.
And as he gets ready for his second season in the NHL, DJ Smith's already declared that that's going to be the last change defensive pairing for matchups for the Ottawa Senators. Sanderson, the youngster, and Artem Zoo.
Well, I mentioned earlier, like, he played last year, and early in the season he looked like a seasoned veteran, and I almost think maybe they overused him at his young age too much, and then I think he kind of burned out a little bit. Then the injuries kind of set in, but there's no doubt he is going to be a solid blue liner for this organization for a very long time, and that's why they tied them all up. And I know there's all this talk about the sophomore jinx in the second year. Sometimes there's a little fall off. I don't see that in the first period, that's for sure, from Jake Sanderson.
So it's Nylander against Kastelic on the draw. Kastelic now is 7-1 in the game in the faceoff circle. Kept in by Steeves against Steeves on this line with Domi and Nylander in the absence of Kelly Yarncroke, who got nicked, and nothing serious, but just enough to keep him out. Liljegren goes awkwardly into the end boards and looks a little uncomfortable. Hope he's okay.
There'll be a penalty on that play, most certainly. And they're making their way over to the box, and Kelly will head to the box for taking the feet out right there. And you're in so close to the boards. There's no malice involved in this. It's a fight for the puck, but the end result is it's a bit of a dangerous play, and there's not a lot of room for Liljegren to protect himself at that point. And going in feet first, blade first, sometimes can really accelerate a bad injury if that foot gets twisted up in there. So Liljegren on the ice, that is a very good sign. The Leafs on the power play, and they could use a bit of energy here. Power play goal will go a long way, getting some energy on the bench.
And the puck dropped unfairly. They'll do it again. Mentioned John Klingberg get a shot on the #1 power play. The #2 power play, as it's been rolled out, will have 2 defensemen for the second unit in Riley and Liljegren. And Liljegren's got a shot. Forsberg will cover up at the side of the net.
Well, the arsenal of players they have on the first unit, there is no room for a defenseman, for 2 defensemen, let alone getting one in there. They're lucky enough. And Riley, as I mentioned, has done a very nice job there as we look at the shot from Liljegren and Forsberg freezing it up. But, you know, Riley was more of a facilitator. He was a distributor, getting the pucks into the hands of the people that are talented. For when you have a guy like Klingberg back there, who I mentioned earlier, likes to zing the puck, that'll be an added option for them.
Nice play by Domi to recover that puck, centered it, and Ottawa intercepts and clears.
I can tell you when they break it down, they'll say Riley doesn't, the opponents will say he doesn't like to shoot the puck, so prevent those passes to the half wall. Now if you got a guy like Klingberg, maybe they can't think that way.
Here's Nylander in, try to get it to Liljegren, and that'll be turned back.
You don't have to look too far putting Austin Matthews on the penalty kill. DJ Smith put Stützle out there last year, and he grew extensively on that penalty kill. He made him feel real good about his game. I think it really helped him find his all-around game. And there's no doubt that I think Austin Watson is smart enough and a talented enough player to kill penalties. Again, it's load management of his ice time is really what you have to look at.
Stützle and Bailey out there on the kill right now into the second minute of this power play. Drop back for Timmins. That was intercepted, and Stützle at the end of a shift just rolls it down.
Well, you see just the hands of a skilled player. A guy like Austin Watson not leads the league, but it's top of the league in takeaways.
Lafferty and Kastelic colliding, and Kastelic had him lined up, but got the worst of that collision. Now it's Timmins.
And then Austin Matthews, of course, you know, he leads the top of the league every year, the top 4 or 5 players in takeaways. You know, Mark Stone's at the top of it all the time, but that makes a good penalty killer. When you've got great hands and you steal pucks, and certainly if he steals pucks, he can do damage. Matthews, such a gifted goal scorer. That makes the power play have to really be on the edge a little bit when he's on the ice, because he's capable of hurting you.
So the penalty done. Back onto the ice comes Kelly. And it remains 2-0 Ottawa. There's Lagesson. Now Logan Shaw, who had a point a game for the Marlies last year. The Marlies captained 69 points in 69 games with Ellis and Clifford. Pass across Lagesson, and that glanced off a skate, and Ottawa rolls it back down. Max Ellis redlining in. Forsberg out to play it. Around it goes for McEwen. Pass out of the reach of the youngster Donovan. And Villeneuve will dump it back in. There's the Finnish defenseman, Matt Palo, along with Donovan. Rolls it ahead. And now out at center ice, it'll be Stützle taking over. Over 8 minutes in the first period for Stützle. And he's checked here. Minton with the steal. And unable to get that in front. Here's Donovan. Pressured by the other junior. It's Minton with another turnover. That's a couple on this shift for him. Fraser Minton, back it comes. And now Villeneuve puts it across. No tip. Nyes. Off the boards. Matthew Nyes trying to get it back to Villeneuve. He's written to the boards. Minton to a open wing, and now Matt Palo plays it to the Leaf line, and Sokolov's on it. Here's Igor Sokolov in, and Petruzzelli stops that. Minton's been out there a while now and gets a chance to head to the bench on a wholesale Leaf change. Now Sanderson. Talked about ice time. He was in the top 20 time on ice in the last month of the season. Highmore unable to reach that. Bumping with Lagesson. Comes up with it. A centering pass. And that ends up out at center ice. Sanderson and Bailey back in deep. That pass, Sanderson, and inside the Ottawa line. Here's Domi keeping it in. Clevin up ahead, and now Sanderson trying to connect with Bailey. Tied up by Domi. Alex Steves on it. One of two Notre Dame Fighting Irish graduates in this Leaf lineup for this first of 8 preseason games for both teams. And they will duel tomorrow night in Toronto. That one played through by Herbinen, now with 3 shots on goal to lead the Leafs in that department. Riley out at center. Logged the most ice time for the Leafs in the first period. Back in comes Toronto. It'll be Liljegren able to take that pass, put it in front. Doesn't get to the net. Herbinen on it again. Tried to center. Broken up by Garventi. His Finnish countryman. Back across Riley. Liljegren. And the Gambrell shot is blocked. Sokolov there to break that up and clear.
That's a nice job and some sustained pressure in the Ottawa zone. We haven't seen a lot of it, of course, with the Leafs thus far in this one, but that's a good shift right there by that Gambrell line, and good job by Liljegren. Keeps pucks alive.
Off the angle, a good shot, put it on. And now back at center, Max Lajoie. William Villeneuve on the tape, and Leafs on the move as Ellis moves back in. Here's Max Ellis in front, and unable to get his stick on that was Logan Shaw. Josiah Slavin, the other member of this Leaf line. Slavin wears number 36, a free agent signing, and the younger brother of Jacob Slavin of Carolina. Turnover chance, and that hit a leg and goes wide. Back to the line, Villeneuve, and it's into the glove of Anton Forsberg. Pretty good collision earlier on. Here's Lafferty meeting up with Kastelic.
From the intensity of the pitch
A clinching moment in the title race.
to the beauty of the tiki-taka.
Massive moment.
From city rivals
Needed something special
to El Clásico,
to separate these two clubs.
here's where legends are born. And every match is a spectacle. A celebration like no other. For the love of football. For the love of La Liga.
Welcome to life in the new open web, where the future arrives daily and creativity and commerce thrive. Viant is pioneering a new approach to media, where third-party cookies are cleared from the cache of history and emerging channels open doors to new customers, creating a world where the future is wide open and the possibilities endless. Viant, built for the new open web, built for now.
Stateside. Fantastic Checo.
Superb racing.
Yes, guys.
Well, Fraser Minton left a pretty good impression during his first Leafs camp a year ago. Speaking with his head coach back in Kamloops, Sean Clouston, he said Minton very growth-oriented. He has an advanced mind for the game. Our Jason Bukla, a resident scout, has his report on the young player. Clouston said Minton's physicality and shot blocking went up last season. He was hanging on to the puck more. Just overall a more confident player at now 19 years of age, Chris.
And General Manager Brett Treleving talked about getting to know the younger players better. Big shot, rebound at Forsberg. Across to Rob. William Nylander on the doorstep. So he wants to see more internal growth and to show the young players the path. Here comes Nylander with a path to the net. Unable to get that through, but a couple of chances for 88 as Liljegren sends it ahead past Steves and off Nylander back into the Ottawa zone.
Well, Leafs doing a real good job of shift after shift now. They're starting to spend more time in the offensive zone. They're turning over pucks. That's 2 or 3 shifts now where the Senators have turned over pucks in their zone and given Toronto some opportunities at their net.
Leafs work through center, but unable to crash inside the line. Riley with a tip off the stick, and here comes Jurian Donovan in. Shovels the backhand around. After it is Kelly. Far side, Kaslik will get there first. In for Kelly, along with McEwen. Back it goes to Matt and Palo. Donovan moves up again, and Liljegren will take over for Toronto. An outlet ahead, and the Leafs now will send it down the ice. And Forsberg stops that shot. Kyle Clifford knocked down. And out at center, it's Lagesson. Spent last year, whoa, a funny hop off the stanchions that got Forsberg out of the net. And this is going to be icing against Ottawa.
Toronto getting a few chances off some Ottawa turnovers, a little bit of sloppiness. This is prior to the draw. Nylander with Liljegren and new teammate Domi and Steves, and just going over a game plan before the puck drops. It's really smart to do that, and they win the draw. He does a nice job there, then gets to the front of the net. Here comes the shot, and he knows it's coming off the back wall, but Forsberg does a real good job of getting that left leg back up against the post. But Nylander doing all the right things, starting with winning the faceoff, but talking to his teammates prior to getting into the draw.
Leafs win that draw. Timmins trying to thread it through. Couldn't get it to the net. Timmins steps up now after the puck on the far side, and there's Matt and Palo, the third pairing for Ottawa on the ice here, and Lafferty and Nyes trying to come up with the puck. Nyes wins the board battle. Timmins across. Lagesson scores! High on Forsberg, and the Leafs on the board off the stick of William Lagesson.
You can kind of see this coming. It's been 4 shifts now that the Leafs are starting to lean. The red line into the Sens end has been more where the traffic has been on the body. Good finish check. on the puck is Nyes. He gets it out of the pile, get it back to the point, and then let it all just breathe from there. And this doesn't happen. You don't score that goal without Gambrell cruising right through the eyes of Forsberg. I mean, we mentioned Sokolov on the first goal there, the goal by Stützle, their second goal. This here's a laser beam on the short side top shelf, and what a beautiful shot by Lagesson, but nice job there by Gambrell, and a good job by the line mates getting in, doing the dirty work along the wall, and Lagesson finishing it off.
He was in the Carolina organization last year, scored 10 goals as a member of the Chicago Wolves. 60 games of NHL experience and a penalty pending against Ottawa. Here's Ellis playing it across. Villeneuve look to get it back. A sharp angle shot off the side of the net. Leafs energized by the Lagesson goal, and now they get a power play looking for the equalizer. So the penalty to Rourke Chartier. And the score 2-1 after Lagesson tallies for Toronto.
At Ariat, we know our made tough work pants will treat you well, because we treat them terrible. We drag them, we toss them, we crush them. We put them through the kind of testing no pair of pants should ever go through. So you can be sure they'll stand up to whatever you put them through. Made tough work pants from Ariat. Work pants done right. For work done better.
Welcome to life in the new open web, where innovation keeps pace with imagination, and the future arrives daily. Viant is pioneering a new approach to media, combining AI with human insight, creating new ways to reach customers and new standards of measurement, both on and offline. Viant, built for the new open web, built for now.
Another double dose of Monday Night Football. First on ABC at 7. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are ready to soar.
From whistle to whistle, every snap, every play.
Can Baker Mayfield lead the Bucs to a home win? And on ESPN at 8, it's even more football. Joe Burrow and the Bengals welcome LA to the jungle. But Aaron Donald and the Rams are ready to turn the lights out. Eagles Buccaneers at 7 on ABC. Rams Bengals at 8 on ESPN.
Back on the power play after scoring to get themselves on the board in this one, and I thought maybe this might have been the call on Chartier, the trip, but he gets away with that one. Where he gets caught is this little tug right there, and that's the tug on the arm of Hervinen that would have sent him down the wall all by himself, and that's the penalty, and now the Leafs will try to tie this game up.
Max Domi wins the draw. The Leafs 0 for 2 on the power play. Liljegren and Riley man the points, and here's Riley getting it across for Domi. Parked in front is Nyes. Max Domi, Riley. Domi once again. And Liljegren shot off Kelly to the far boards. Retrieved again by Domi. Here's Max Domi firing it, knocked down in front. Loose puck, Leafs get on it first. Riley, Liljegren, Domi couldn't handle it, and it is played back to center.
That's a tough pass for Domi to pick up from Liljegren. It's in tight on him. There's a lot of traffic there. He's got to get his head up quickly, and the result is you lose control of the puck and it's out of the zone.
We're able to get the puck to the most dangerous guy on the power play, 88. William Nylander. It's a pass too far for Liljegren. There's Stützle out in a penalty kill roll again, and he'll fire it down the ice.
Well, the one thing that's so important is the entry, right? You come up the ice, you get the entry. For the Leafs, you start in the zone, and you get control of the puck, and they had a little bit of time, but they never really got anything properly set up. And that's just a factor of what happens in the early part of the preseason. Not everybody can be on the same page here. There's still rust everyone's trying to kick off.
Lafferty sidestepped Stützle that time after running into Kaslik before. Here's Stützle trying to barge through. Deep in the corner, and Timmins up with the puck, and the Leafs in the dying seconds of the power play with just over 8 minutes remaining here in the second period, and maybe a chance down low, give and go, and moving up Hervinen, a pass across Steves in front, and they can't get the puck to the net. Hervinen along the boards. Lafferty in support. It'll come to Steve shooting. Sharp angle, the rebound. Stopped by Forsberg.
Well, a quiet start to this power play, but as it was ending, a ferocious finish for the Maple Leafs, and they almost got it tied up. Nice job on the entry as they come into the zone, a stop up, and that allows everyone to move in. Nice play by Timmins as he drops that puck, but they never can really get a clear shot at the net until lay down this thing. Steves is going to come around the back of the net on the left side of Forsberg and try to stuff one on the glove side, but all around it and just off by a little bit are the Maple Leafs, and we're still at 2-1 with 7:47 to go in the second period.
From the draw, it's swung wide of the net by Josiah Slavin. Here's from distance, an eye-high shot, easily picked off by Forsberg.
Clifford probably doing the right thing. You're a forward, you're manning the blue line. The last thing you want to do is hang on to it or try to make an ill-advised play through a seam. The clear road to the net, lay it on the net, maybe a bit lower, try to create a rebound.
There's Minton winning the draw. That shot off a skate in front. Senators 3 shots in the second period after 23 in the first. Now it's Rourke Chartier over the line, rolled it through too far for Tkachuk.
Molson Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it.
We talked a lot about, they just hadn't had a lot of offensive zone time in the first period, and as the second period got going, the Senators guilty of turning over some pucks, giving Toronto some life in the offensive zone, and they got some reps for about 4 or 5 shifts in the offensive zone. Then the power play. They have found their legs a little bit here in the second period.
Puck flipped ahead. Ellis trying to skate onto that. He got dumped by Sanderson. No call. And back the other way. A 3-on-1. Stutzla. Riley got back, and the play broken up there. Good defensive play made inside the line, and that was Liljegren. As Hervinen's shot is blocked. Forsberg taps it to Sanderson. Flipped away, and down the ice, it's an icing call against the Senators.
Well, Sanderson trying to defend Ellis without taking a penalty, and he does a good job of it. And there, I'm not sure. It's hard to see if the left hand, you'll maybe get a better look at it here. I don't believe he gets an arm in there at all. The stick comes around the outside, and it might be a good non-call there as Ellis loses his footing. I thought maybe his left arm got inside a little bit where we couldn't see it, but I don't think it did.
Drew wins the draw in a defensive zone, scooped away by Tkachuk, kept in at the line by Lajoie. Artem Zoo, bumped by Domi again. They're going to get to know each other. This Battle of Ontario. Domi hooks it in front. Nylander a chance, and a stop by Forsberg. Nylander's got it again. Momentum of this game has turned here in the second period. Domi. Nylander. Steve's in front, a one-timer off Zoom wide. Domi retrieves it, and the fans here trying to pick up their team as the home side on its heels right now with under 6 to go in the second. Tapped away at center. Gambrell to an open side as Nylander is stepping off. Zoom ahead, and that's off Smekal deep in Toronto territory. Gambrell flicks it away, and Nyes to the attack. Here's Matthew Nyes. Like he tried to play an inboard pass to himself. Lafferty is there as well. And Lagesson, who has the Toronto goal, has not scored an NHL regular season goal in 60 games with Edmonton and Montreal. And here comes another penalty call. And it looks like Toronto's going to get another power play. A close call here for William Nylander, looking for the tire.
It's a special moment. We worked hard to get to this moment right now. gonna throw it. Caught. Touchdown.
Welcome to life in the new open web, where innovation keeps pace with imagination, and the future arrives daily. Viant is pioneering a new approach to media, combining AI with human insight, creating new ways to reach customers and new standards of measurement, both on and offline. Viant, built for the new open web, built for now.
Football is back. Got your new fantasy team name? Check. Grill? Check. Fancy grill? Check. Troy and Joe? Check. Bro and bro? Check. All the emotions? All season long? Check, baby.
The Little League World Series champions!
Chris Vaughn telling his son that he was being drafted.
You want to come to work with me next week?
Makes it so magical.
Deuce Vaughn in the end zone.
Bernard Docker in the penalty box for holding is going to get that left arm wrapped around the waist of his ex-teammate Dylan Gambrell right there in the corner. And here's a guy in his 4th year as an Ottawa Senator, played 19 games last year for the Senators, trying to break in and be a regular with the team, and never can seem to get himself up and stable up here with the big club. And you know, you're almost running out of time when it's your 4th year. He knows how important it is to leave a good impression in this camp.
4th power play of the day for Toronto. 0 for 3, did not register a shot on the last man advantage. And Parker Kelly will roll it back in Toronto ice. Haslett ties things up, but kills a few seconds before Nylander and Riley take charge. Under 5 to go here in the 2nd period. How long into the season you feel it takes to really get a power play ramped up?
I don't think you can wait into the season. I know teams do, but a team like the Toronto and Ottawa, who both had really good power plays, I would think they want to hit the ground running. I don't think they want to waste any time, and I think the addition of Guy Boucher on the Toronto power play tells you that even though they finished 2nd in the league, they still feel like there's some work to be done.
Another penalty coming up. The Leafs are going to get a 2-man advantage for 53 seconds. And it looks like a high sticking call going against Tyler Clevin. So that defensive pairing now going to both sit off at the same time.
Yeah, inadvertent stick comes up and captures Nyes right in the top of the cheekbone, looked like. All right there on top of the head. No doubt high stick. Good call by the official. And there's a look at Guy Boucher, who's in charge of the power play for the Maple Leafs. And already the talk of moving Klingberg to that first unit to give it a look. And I know people's always going to play on the first. No, they're going to give it a look. They're going to have a look at it. They're going to take their timeout now with a 53-second 2-man advantage. It's a good opportunity in the game. There's only 4 minutes left here in the 2nd period to use this. Down 2-1. Opportunity to tie this game up and possibly take the lead. So Sheldon Keefe allows Guy Boucher a little bit of time to talk to his players.
Got the grease board out today. Yesterday he had painted on the ice in the power play zone where he wanted, and he's talked a lot about chaos around the net.
Innovative guy. He's very innovative. He always has been. Very committed to his job and trying to get the best out of his players, and he will try just about anything. And when you're 2nd best in the league and you're hired as the power play coach, that's not a lot of upward motion to go here. You know, it takes a pretty confident guy to take that responsibility and make it better.
We're out there for the face-off, won the draw. They're able to tie things up in the corner as some time comes off the first penalty. Now he's trying to use that size, but some good work being done by Zub and Sanderson to keep that stuck on the boards, and now cleared.
That's something you can't draw up on a board. You know, Zub and Sanderson basically wasted 30-something seconds in the left corner with nothing going on.
Now Riley back in, sends it around for Nyes. Had trouble with it. Tied up, and Giroux's going to win that. They may get an odd man rush, down by 2. Here's Sanderson in front. Stopped by Petrozelli, and Sanderson crashes into the net. They rule play on, Leafs with possession. And it's Nylander in front for Nyes with time. Back across the shot, and Lajoie stopped by Forsberg. And now with Ottawa getting to touch the puck, they stop the play to get the net back on at the Leaf end.
How about this battle down low? If you're the Ottawa Senators bench, you got to be thrilled with Sanderson and Zub. There are 3 guys for the Leafs in there trying to win a battle to get that puck off the wall, and they can't. Nyes, Domi, Nylander, just not enough battle on that puck. You got to be like a blender in there, pulling pucks out. And how about this chance here by Sanderson, who's been joining the rush on a number of occasions, and good on the referee not to blow this down. Even though the net comes off, the Toronto Maple Leafs have an advantage, and they're going up ice. You let the play go, and that's what they did. The Leafs had a couple of chances.
So now 1-man advantage for 50 seconds. Leafs are 0 for 4 now on the power play. Kaslik in deep against Lajoie. Timmins trying to come up with it, and Lajoie helps out. The Leafs get pointed in the right direction. Lafferty through center, but that's broken up, and Chartier rolls it back with under a half minute now left in the Clement minor.
You can imagine that of all the drawings Guy Boucher did on his board in the timeout, there was none saying win the 3-on-2 battle in the corner. That one you'd think would just be self-explanatory.
That one by Steves, turned back, a shot. Forsberg stopped that. Clearing attempt is knocked down and comes back to Timmins again. Quickly across, nice pass by Herman, and Steves trying to walk in, scores! They score an even strength, but now the game is dead even. Alex Steves with the goal, with just over 2 minutes to go in this second period.
And that's going to take a bit of the sting out of the kerfuffle on the 5-on-3, which did not look good. The Leafs come right back out. Forget about it. Let it go. It's gone. You still have time. They do a nice job of getting set up. The pass back on the top of the seam. And then Steves does a really good job of being patient. The fake slapper, he draws it in a little bit tighter to the hash marks, where he has a better look at the net. He takes it away from all the traffic, and then it's glove side, top shelf, and into the back of the net it goes. Nice job by Alex Steves. He's had a couple of opportunities around the net, and he hasn't been rewarded. He didn't make a mistake there. That was a real nice shot.
23 and 19 goals for Steves with the Marlies, 51 points last year. Like Lagesson, has not scored an NHL regular season goal, but on the board here as the Leafs get even and look for a go-ahead goal here in the late stages of this second period. And now another penalty upcoming in this one, going against Kyle Clifford of Toronto.
Goalie interference, I think, running into Forsberg. Remember the injury? We showed you the video of that, and we showed you Hyman falling on top of him. Well, there's Clifford right in on top of him, and if you've ever had 2 MCLs damaged at the same time, I'll tell you that it's not a fun thing to have, and the referee's protecting Forsberg and the crease area, and Clifford gets the goalie interference penalty. 1:40 to go here in the first period. The Senators, not a banner period for them. The Maple Leafs have got this thing locked up at 2 now, had a much better second period. We'll see if the Ottawa Senators can find a way to take a lead into the intermission.
So Ottawa 1 for 3 on the power play in the game, and the youngster Matthew Nyes out again in a penalty killing role with Dylan Gambrell. Here comes Stützle along with Tkachuk, Giroux, Sanderson, and Bailey. Jake Sanderson, Stützle, fires, scores! Another sharp shot from Tim Stützle. Double dips, and Ottawa's regained the lead.
Well, rhythm gets built from your own end on the power play breakout, and the Senators do a real nice job here. Josh Bailey settles it down, and then he hits Stützle right across the the rink. He's able to tip it over to Tkachuk. Now the setup's in place. Giroux's going to cut through the seam here. It's going to be a little bit of pitch and catch with Sanderson. And like the Steve shot, this is just a point-blank shot here by Stützle. This is him in his office. He loves shooting from here on his forehand, on his offside, and off to post it in. What a beautiful shot.
So he has 2 in the game, a power play goal, the second of the game for the Senators. Sanderson will get a primary assist, and we're into the final minute of the second period, and now Ottawa with a 3-2 lead. 10 power play goals for Stützle last year. Logan shot of Villeneuve, and across, Lacroix's shot ricocheted in front and picked off, and back the other way comes Ottawa. Gaslick on the forecheck with Kelly. Played ahead for Shaw. Logan Shaw, the Glace Bay, Nova Scotia product, who played here in Ottawa. And now Clement backhands it ahead and skipped over the stick of Smikow. Sanderson gets the primary assist on the goal at 18:45. Tim Stützle's second of the game.
Well, it just kind of shows you the kind of ability that Tim Stützle has. The speed through the neutral zone, the vision entering the zone, getting to your spot, and then the ability to just pull this into your offside and find the hole. You got Tkachuk and that big body standing in front again. We've seen, 3 of the 5 goals, I think, have had a guy standing right in front of the net. So important to have that guy taking away the goalie's vision.
Here, Venti picked off that pass from Lafferty. Now it's Nylander out with Nyes and Lafferty at the end of the period. And now 3.2 remaining in the second.
You hate to come back from 2-0 and feel like you've kind of won that second period heading into the third, and then a late penalty by Clifford on goalie interference, and the Senators take advantage of it on the power play, and now they will go into the intermission up by 1.
Tkachuk also gets an assist on the Stützle goal. Give Timmins an assist on the Steve's goal from Hervinen and Timmins, but it's Stützle with 2, and the second came 50 seconds after the Leafs had tied it. So after 2 here in Ottawa, it's 3-2 Senators. Third period, it's 3-2 Ottawa. We know about Stützle and Nylander. The star players are not fighting for jobs, but a guy like Matthew Highmore is, and he's been noticeable.
Well, absolutely, and that's the one thing, the word is noticeable. Be noticeable. Whatever you're doing out there, do it at the best of your ability, and that's what he's done today. Highmore has blocked some shots. He's pursued the puck. He's been in the right position. He's moved the puck into good spots. Right here, he's reaching in, gets a good play on the stick check. At the blue line, another stick check, breaks up a play there. And then how about this here? Down low, starts to play off. He's going to continue down deep into the end and get a great opportunity at the net. Yeah, it's nice to get that goal, but all those little things, they add up in a game. And when people are upstairs watching, they take notice. And for Matthew Highmore, he's had a pretty good 2 periods so far, and a 3rd period to go, and who knows what'll come out of that.
139 NHL game, steal by Nylander in front, and it's healed wide by Domi. What a chance in the opening seconds of the 3rd period for the Leafs to get back on even terms.
Well, a great set of hands on William Nylander, and I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but a turnover, and we saw this being the problem in the 2nd period for the Ottawa Senators, and that right there is a nasty one. And Nylander over to Domi, and he just can't finish it off. What a great opportunity to tie this one up early.
Dennis Hildeby, by the way, is now in goal for the Maple Leafs. Plan was to either split or go 2 periods in 1, and it will be Hildeby in relief of Petruzzelli, who looked good, making 25 stops through 40 minutes. Sokolov sends it back in, and there is big Dennis Hildeby, 6'7". And a shot rings off the post, a rebound sent wide, but a chance for Sokolov after the initial blast hit iron. Now a hit for Lafferty too far, icing waved. Clevin sends it ahead. Smikow out to center. And here's Lagesson, head manning the puck back in. It comes back to Lagesson. And now Lafferty working against Bernard Docker. Feeds the point. Lagesson fires. Rebound in front. Minton can't get a stick on it. And the Senators clear. And this will be icing Ottawa.
Training camp and preseason games are full of anxiety, and for the guys that you mentioned, a guy like Matthew Highmore, who's had a great game thus far, and then right here, Hildeby coming in the third period. This one rings off the iron, and Sokolov, I mean, if he can finish this off, you have no idea what that means to a guy like Sokolov moving forward, and everyone that's hoping he has a great start to this camp. You've got to finish those off. You've got to be noticeable, as we said earlier.
Here's Lagesson again, glove down and held by Forsberg as planned, playing the entire game, at least barring any unforeseen circumstance.
And I said earlier when the game started that I think this was a good call by DJ. Forsberg missed a lot of games. Get him in. Get him in a full game, as many full games as you can get him in. We all know how important the start is here. We showed the November stats for the Senators. The first 45 days of this season for the Ottawa Senators, they have to come out of those first 45 days well above 500.
Tillman bumped off the puck, and here comes Ottawa over the line. It's McEwen with Kastelik and Kelly. Back to the line, and that shot deflected off the stick of Kastelik and out of play.
Kastelik is going to be a major part of that fourth line with McEwen, Kelly on the left side. I'm sure there might be some pieces changing in and out, but I think he will be a constant on that line. And when you look down the middle of the ice for the Ottawa Senators, certainly, you know, Josh Norris being healthy, that's going to be a huge key for that. So now you got Stützle and Norris. There's your two guys. And Kastelik on that fourth line, which is a grinding, hard to play against fourth line. But getting Pinto signed is another key part. And you've got to get him signed. He cannot afford to miss time. And I know it's hard to say that, but when negotiations are underway, but he just can't afford it. But getting him signed has got to be the most important thing right now.
Won't see Norris tomorrow as they hold him back just for precautionary reasons.
Still in a caution jersey skating. I think that's a good idea. This is a guy who's been through an awful lot, and he's a real talent. And the one thing you don't want to do is bring him back any earlier than you think it's ready. He wants to be ready, but you got to save him from himself a little bit.
Boy, Jake Sanderson's been good in this game. A couple of assists as Zub sends it ahead. A bouncing puck went by Giroux and Liljegren. No icing, and Lajoie, a little stutter step, but does play the puck. And here comes Timothy Liljegren.
Sanderson just looks so confident. He gets the puck with authority. His movements are good.
You mentioned that term early in the game. I don't think anybody's worried about sophomore jinx with Jake Sanderson.
I wouldn't be. But, you know, it's something that a lot of people have talked about over many years, even, you know, back in the Stone Age when I was playing. I mean, the sophomore jinx seemed to be a real thing, but such a mature kid, and I think coming in the way he did last year, the amount of responsibility he was given early, I think his growth just went crazy forward, and unfortunately an injury slowed him down. But they got him signed up, and that is a good deal because he's going to carry a lot of minutes.
Here's Donovan, a shot that knocked down in front. Comes back, and big shot by Matt and Palo goes wide and ricochets back into the Ottawa zone. Donovan a lead feed. Smekal tried to connect with Joventi. There's Domi who lost it but gets helped out, and the Leafs will break out. Timmins called for it, wants to lead the rush. He'll roll it down, and Alex Steeves on the hunt. And a piece of Bernard Docker. Along the boards it goes. There's Highmore. He's surrounded by Leafs. It'll come to the near side. Clevens has room. Cleven with a good pass up ahead, and now Highmore's shot. Played ahead, but knocked down by Bailey. It's Highmore again, a backhand, and Hildeby there to make that stop, and Domi's got it.
Another really good shift for number 15. He has been He's got his legs, he's skating, he's attacking the net, he's in the right places on the ice. And that's what you love to see, that position.
Here's Minton twisting and turning, trying to get it to Nyes. Getting a look further up in the lineup. He didn't start with Lafferty and Nyes, but Fraser Minton's there right now in place of Gambrell. It'll come back to Lafferty. That hit Nyes and bounces back through center. Lafferty bumped again. Had their sights on Lafferty. There's been a few mid-ice collisions involving 28 of the Leafs here this afternoon. Kachuk tried to center it. Logan Shaw's pass broken up. Good stick there by Lajoie, and Nyes had trouble getting it back to Lajoie. He'll try it again. Now to Riley. Leafs starting a change. Nyes heads off. Logan Shaw, the Marley captain. Up ahead it goes. Hervinen onto the right side. And Sanderson there for Ottawa. Artem Zub, Kachuk. One touch and Stützle's on his way again. Trying to bust in. 2 in the game for Tim Stützle. Watched by Timmins. After it on the near side, the Leafs will take over. And back the other way goes Toronto. Flipped in for Hervinen. Gambrell with him, and a short side shot held long enough by Forsberg. Here's another chance for Highmore.
Superb racing. Yes, guys.
Another double dose of Monday Night Football. On ABC, Hurts and the Eagles soar into Tampa Bay. On ESPN, the Rams face Burrow and the Bengals. Eagles Buccaneers at 7 on ABC. Rams Bengals at 8 on ESPN.
With college football on ESPN+, you get the best teams and the biggest conferences, and so much college football action from across the country. So sign up now at ESPNplus.com.
You fought for 162 games.
He's in there.
Now your shot at glory is hanging by a thread.
He caught it.
The moment is here.
Ball game.
The MLB Wild Card Series on the networks of ESPN.
From the intensity of the pitch
Might be a clinching moment in the title race.
to the beauty of the tiki-taka,
Massive moment.
from city rivals
He needed something special
to El Clásico.
to separate these two clubs.
Here's where legends are born. And every match is a spectacle. A celebration like no other. For the love of football. For the love of La Liga.
Their two biggest goalies to Ottawa today, as Chris mentioned, Dennis Hildeby, 6'7", Keith Petruzzelli, 6'6", who we saw earlier. If either were to play a regular season game for Toronto, they would be the tallest in franchise history. It's hard to see a path for either of them this season, but the Leafs did end up with 5 goalies appearing in games just a year ago, Chris.
Well, both these teams have gone through some goals.
Yeah. Well, 6'7", the biggest goaltender in the league ever. Matt Sogard, one of them, playing for Ottawa. We'll see him tomorrow. Ben Bishop, Mikko Koskinen at 6'7", and Dennis Hildeby hopes to be the next. By the way, I'm knocking some rust off, but Kyle's in midseason form, isn't he?
Is he ever?
Here's Kyle Clifford. Back to the line for Liljegren, sends it deep. In behind the net, Max Ellis trying to get some room. Here's Ellis, spin, shoots, and Forsberg stops that, and the rebound gathered and flipped away to the Leaf line.
There was not any doubt there, was there?
No,
I didn't think so.
Even after off-season nuptials,
Yeah.
it doesn't miss a beat.
That will focus you.
Chris,
That's for sure.
Well, I opened the show today saying that it was Max's son Ty playing for Toronto instead of Ty's son Max. So I'm working through some off-season rust myself.
Even when he says it wrong, it sounds right.
Sounds good.
It's just the way he is.
Lajoie broke up that at the Leaf line. Takes the drop, and now the Leafs invade again. Villeneuve finds Nylander. And that pass broken up by Zub. Sent back in by Lajoie. Approaching 8 minutes of the third. Still a 1-goal Ottawa lead. Here's Järventie over the line. Sent around to the near side for Kelly. Järventie in to help out. Jamming along the boards. Nyes can't come up with it. It's sent across, and Donovan shot blocked. Parker Kelly trying to cycle it back. Järventie after it. Järventie out there in place of Kaslick this time as we get some different looks, and Nyes tried to bust away. He had his pocket picked by Kelly. Trying to get it back is Nyes, and now Kelly turns off on an Ottawa change. Here come the Leafs as Connor Timmins works in. Minton on the forecheck. Up against Donovan. Kachuk tied up there by Nyes. But the puck loose, and a lead feed for Giroux. Flicks it ahead. And the unfinished defenseman in front. What a stop there by Hildeby as he went post to post. Great save by Hildeby, denying a hat-trick goal for Stützle.
What a great set of hands on Claude Giroux. That was a great timing little saucer pass that just kind of floated into the Leaf zone and set that whole play up.
Bernard Docker up at center. That hopped over the stick of Bailey. And now it's chipped in by Gambrell. With Hervinen. Around it goes for Highmore, and he banks it out to center ice. Play a little scrappy right now, and that puck bounced by the defenseman. Nearly a break there for Ellis. Max Ellis tied up by Bernard Docker. And Ottawa comes away with the puck. Rourke Chartier will play it in deep. Hildeby out to dish it off to Villeneuve, and now Lajoie tries to get control. Ellis helps out. Past the midway mark of the third. Hervinen can't get it deep, knocked out of midair, and a right wing pass here, just too far for Järventie. Timmins up to Slavin. Now over the line, Lagesson, who has one of the Leaf goals. He can't barge through. And Järventie works it ahead. On the left side, Kelly. Timmins there defensively. Now the Leafs will advance. Slavin on the tape. Up ahead, Steeves. And Kyle Clifford swooping in. Here's Clifford. Trying to get it to the net. It bounced through for Forsberg, who left it there, and Parker Kelly takes over. Now Kastelik. Tied up to the line. It does leak out to center ice. McEwen unable to get it deep. Nylander for Domi. That pass broken up. Leafs now with an inch in shots at 31-30. Remember, it was 23-7 after the first period.
Well, certainly the second period, about 6 or 7 minutes in, everything kind of turned around, and the Leafs got back on the board, and that late goal by Ottawa in the second period, it put them down again. And third period's kind of been a feeling out process, and as we head to break, we'll have another look at that Tim Stützle opportunity. And Claude Giroux had a storybook year last year in a homecoming here to Ottawa, kind of close to his hometown. What a nice little backhand saucer. And that Paolo tries to go across to Timmy Stützle. He tried a couple times to jam it in, but to no avail. The icing call will negate the break, and they'll take a face-off to the left.
Zub shot, steered aside. Sanderson there. Giroux with 1,100 games played, over 1,000 points. He hit that mark late last season. Giroux with Stützle and Tkachuk. You mentioned we will see Tarasenko with Stützle and Tkachuk. Or at least with Stützle. We're not sure how they might configure to give Tarasenko a look on the top line. We'll see Tarasenko tomorrow in Toronto.
My gut feeling is at some point they're going to for sure.
Here's Nylander in, and Forsberg got a piece of that. Second time Nylander's got in behind the Ottawa defense. Now Minton moves up. Hit along the boards. Sanderson with an outlet to Highmore. And the Dartmouth, Nova Scotia product bounces it back in. Hillby uses that long wingspan to knock it away from the front of the net. It'll come across to Donovan. His centering pass, and that skipped past the intended target. Josh Bailey. Here's Montepallo, and he'll fire it back across to Bailey. Highmore works the corner. Taken to the boards by Riley, and the puck loose for Minton and Eyes. Here's Fraser Minton sending it in deep. Leafs changing in behind him. Feels like we're almost playing straight time in the third.
No kidding, it has ran fast. It's been a lot of action through the neutral zone. It just seems to be like no one's been able to get a lot of end zone time and get any really good opportunities.
Jorian Donovan's been noticeable at times in this game, but now has to get back defensively. Here comes Shaw, along with Gambrell. Dylan Gambrell trying to shift gears against Järventie. It'll be picked up there by Hirvonen. Here's Ronnie Hirvonen twisting and turning. Gambrell back in front, and Hirvonen couldn't reach that pass. Smeekel unable to get it deep. He'll head off on a change.
Well, you'd almost think, similar to the Klingberg experiment on the first power play, you're going to give Tarasenko a chance to play with Stützle and Tkachuk. I think you have to have a look at it. Giroux could move down with Norris. It's not going to be a problem there if the line looks really good. If it doesn't, there's no harm, no foul. You just put Giroux back up on the line, but they'll definitely give it a look in some games.
Here's Bernard Docker flipping it in deep. Villeneuve with a shoulder check. In behind the net, it comes loose for Toronto with 5:20 to go here in the third. Speaking of power plays, we should mention the Steve's goal has been credited as a power play. You saw it hit the back of the net as the penalty box door was opening, but they do credit Steve's with a power play goal. And now under 5 minutes to go here, and the second Tim Stützle goal is the difference in this one. Here's Tkachuk. With Stützle, who preceded the play, they've got to tag up to get onside. Gives Morgan Riley room, and Ottawa changing, so Steves has room to send it in, but that one deflects out of play. So down to 4:34 to go. William Nylander with the latest Leaf chance.
Another double dose of Monday Night Football. First on ABC at 7. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are ready to soar.
From whistle to whistle, every snap, every play.
Can Baker Mayfield lead the Bucs to a home win? And on ESPN at 8, it's even more football. Joe Burrow and the Bengals welcome LA to the jungle. But Aaron Donald and the Rams are ready to turn the lights out. Eagles Buccaneers at 7 on ABC. Rams Bengals at 8 on ESPN.
With college football on ESPN+, you get the defending champs, Boomer Sooner, the Horned Frogs, Death Valley, the Swamp, It's the best teams and the biggest conferences.
Can you believe this?
And so much college football action from across the country. So sign up now at ESPNplus.com.
Here, this sky is the limit for Timmy Stützle. He had a wonderful season last year, real growth here. This first game of the preseason, he's been all around the net. A near miss there. There's a look at his first goal. Sanderson to Stützle, posted in, another beauty. 2 on the night, using his body to get in front of Gambrell, block off for Sanderson. And maybe this shift is more indicative of his growth. I mean, he comes up the ice with speed. He's going to take it into the Leafs end. There's about 2 or 3 opportunities that in his first and second year, he may have fallen down. He may have tried to take a penalty, but instead he grinds it along the wall, stays on his feet, and it just shows you how much growth and strength he's building in his body. And boy, a real solid draft pick for the Ottawa Senators, and he has, I think, blown away all expectations.
Molson Leafs hockey on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Molson. Whether it's Canadian, Ultra, Export, or Excel, there's a Molson with your name on it.
Well, how about that draft, Gary? Number 3 in 2020 was Stützle. Number 5 was Jake Sanderson. For my money, the best 2 Senators in this game and the best 2 draft picks of the 2020 draft.
You couldn't argue that. I think the Senators did a marvelous job, and credit to their scouting staff. And just not just the fact that they drafted those guys, but they brought them in the right way, and they've developed them the right way, and they're getting everything out of these 2 players now. You see 2 young, confident players with so many years ahead of them as the Senators strive to try to be a playoff team in the National Hockey League. It's not easy to get into the playoffs, and it won't be this year. I know people are thinking, oh, the Senators are going to get in for sure, even though they've made a ton of improvements to their team, and they look really good. It's going to be hard to get in the playoffs. You know, only 8 spots in the East, and there are a lot of good teams out there.
Finished 6 points behind Florida, the team that went to the Stanley Cup final. The Maple Leafs had the same points as the Vegas Golden Knights, the team that won the Stanley Cup. Here's Nylander spinning out, but getting it back to Riley. Into the high slot, Domi trying to flip it through, and that glances off the glove of Forsberg. I think Nylander's been the best Leaf so far in this game.
I would think so. I haven't seen anyone that's every time he's been on the ice. I think Liljegren's been good, but I think Nylander is probably the most noticeable of any Leaf, and that's, you know, and that should be that way. I mean, he's the most talented of the players that they have out there right now.
McEwen sends it wide. Clevin holds it in. Domi there. It went over his stick, but here's Logan Shaw flipping it back down into the Ottawa zone. See how long before Hildeby comes out of the net. That shot sailed high and ricochets back into the Toronto zone. Lagesson. And now Nylander. He'll chip and chase, and away goes Hildeby to the Leaf net for an extra attacker. Tipped in by Lajoie. Highmore charging after it. Now a pass out to center ice with the open net. And Bailey will play it inside the Leaf line. Under 2 to go here in the third. Leafs look for a tying goal, and Domi now with the puck as he weaves his way in. Nice left wing. Trying to come off the boards. Back to Riley. Now Domi shooting, and that bounced off the glove of Forsberg to Nylander. Sends it around to the near side. Domi's got it. Riley available. Rink wide. It bounced on Nylander. Sanderson challenges him. Liljegren to Riley. Here it goes down low. Domi looking to redirect it in front. Picked up by Nyes. Matthew Nyes with it. Chartier broke up that pass. Nyes once again. Trying to get it to Domi. Doesn't work. Kachuk's out. Bailey will play it back. Almost an extra man on the ice for Ottawa, and they're going to get too many. Somebody hop over the boards as that pass.
Well, you know what?
Up at the bench.
Josh Bailey does the right thing, but in the game today, most guys go for the empty net. It's a 3-2 lead. The net's empty. Bailey has a crack at it, but he's just at the Sens blue line. But he does kind of the right thing. He doesn't go for the empty net. He stops and he goes back across ice, but when he does, the change is happening, and Clevin comes onto the ice, and it creates too many men on the ice. Instead of moving forward up the ice with the Ottawa Senator bench thought that's what Bailey was going to do, it's not what he did. And of course, then it was the penalty with too many guys. You know, at this day and age now, every player goes for that empty net. It's not too often you see someone stop up like Bailey did there.
So in the final minute, the Leafs with the power play looking to tie the game. 1 for 5 with the man advantage. Again, that power play goal came as the 5-on-3 expired. It was a 5-on-5 and a glove stop by Forsberg.
A nice glove save there, and you don't bleed a rebound. That's the most important thing. As Riley throws this to the net, he's got a pretty good wrist shot and hoping to create some sort of deflection, screen, rebound, and Forsberg does a nice job of tracking it and then not allowing a rebound to come out. And it's a big face-off right here, Claude Giroux.
Fraser Minton digs in on the draw, but the veteran Giroux prevails, and it gets past Riley down the ice. After it's Stützle, remember, sitting on a pair of goals in the game. Now trying to hold it down there. Nyes will come away with the puck. Leafs head north. Nylander, Minton, Domi in front. Nylander, and a chance there, and Forsberg comes up with a stop. That's as good a look as Nylander's had tonight.
Nyes does a really nice job of coming all the way down in his end and helping his defenseman to drag it out of the corner. Then he gets it up ice to Nylander. Across the line they come, and Domi's going to saucer this across to Nylander. You see where Riley's standing there? I actually thought he might have been offside on the entry, but the linesman had a good look. He waved it off, and Nylander with a really good chance to tie this up.
Looks like there's been some Domi-Nylander chemistry in this first game together. Riley holds the zone. Minton puts it on goal. Loose in front. Domi battling, but the puck knocked away. Final 5 seconds. As it comes back, Liljegren. That pass for Nylander. Bobbled, game over, and the Ottawa Senators win the first preseason game on home ice as Anton Forsberg comes up with a 35-save performance.
Oh, good job by Forsberg. Some anxious moments at the end of this thing. Minton does a nice job getting it to the net. Forsberg can't handle it, and I think it's the left leg that's going to get outstretched right in front of the net by Sanderson right there. That kind of stops Nylander from getting a crack at the loose puck. This will give us a better look at it. Watch Sanderson's left leg. It kind of sits on top of the puck as Domi's trying to scramble to poke it into the net. His left leg will come over here, and as Nylander goes to poke it in, he really doesn't get a stick on the puck, and the Senators will win this one 3-2.
So a salute for the fans here at Canadian Tire Center. We'll be back